We truly believe that if you are zooming ahead, and I think in the speed of change, and everyone is like living in this change right now, with everything happening around us, with natural language taking shape in various different ways, is that it is very easy for us to now comprehend that machines are going to be smarter than human. Quite soon, we're gonna have systems, and we need to build systems that are able to create more creative and smart solutions to problems than we have had previously.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Connected. Today, we're speaking with Simon Lidzén of Fast Track. Now, there was a time, maybe it was a decade ago, when CRM automation and orchestration might have been a luxury for some operators that were looking to provide an enhanced customer experience. But I think we can all agree that that very clearly isn't the case anymore. And in today's market, the competitive battlefield is the player lifecycle management and lifetime value management. And operators look for enhanced tooling to maximize the player value and the player lifecycle experience. CRM automation tools like Fast Track are known to deliver well above their cost when used properly, and have evolved to be key aspects of the technology frontier in today's iGaming market due to their ability to leverage AI and machine learning at that layer. Fast Track is a clear market leader, and I'm very excited to be speaking with you today, Simon. We do a lot of business together. We have a lot of mutual customers. I think you guys have a fantastic product. But I'm often asked, when it comes to operators that are looking to enhance their CRM capabilities, what's the difference between the various vendors in the market? Because you're not alone in this space. So I think this would be a great opportunity to talk about that. Maybe let's start at the beginning, just so that there's nothing that I'm taking for granted about what is the scope of Fast Track services. And then let's unpack it a bit more from there. Welcome to Connect.
No, but thank you so much for inviting me, Ashley. It's really cool to be here, and I've seen some of your recent Connected series. Is a really good way to just get the message across about how our products work together, how the partnership works. But you're absolutely right in saying that, CRM is pretty much everything. You have a brand, you have an identity, you have all of the aspects in terms of purpose, everything that you want to bring to market. But of course, how the CRM strategy manifests itself becomes an absolute make or break type of aspect of your business. And yes, we've been busy. We've been building this company now for the last 10 years. And we started, like all of the founders in Fast Track, we come from the operator side. So we have a very clear insight to how we have carefully architectured kind of everything that is going on inside Fast Track to be very much built for iGaming specifically. And I think a large degree of the success from Fast Track comes from that in itself. To step into it and talk a little bit about what Fast Track is about and what we've set out to do. Fast Track's vision is to digitalize the iGaming industry and deliver the first self-learning engagement platform. As you know, we always speak about how important it is of real-time data, how data flows in the right direction, and how we're able to take advantage of AI modeling and player value modeling and all of those different things in order to make our CRM strategies evolve and help us grow together. We have exactly that as well. We have a promise in Fast Track. It's a three-legged promise where we really the differentiation in the market really starts from those three legs. Number one is excellence. I think when Fast Track started building a platform, or any platform for that sense, we've said that we're not going to build anything unless we bring something truly unique to the mix, and we can sort of approach an old problem in a new way. And that's what we've done with Fast Track CRM and the other products that we're offering under the portfolio. The second piece is flexibility. We have been on the operator side, and being a tech company and being led by tech people, we know how the cost can be of being in a prison with your providers. We don't want that. We want to make sure that Fast Track is a system that molds around your ecosystem, something that complements you and enables you to accelerate your growth and kind of put the channels and the providers that you want around it to support your business in the best way, because we believe that every operator is unique, that all of their strategies are unique, and that we need to treat it as such. And the third leg of our promise is essentially the efficiency aspect. So when we're looking at how the platform is worked, how you work it as an end user, we actually made it a core mission in Fast Track to make it so many more times productive than anything else in the market. So we have re-engineered all of the workflows inside Fast Track to be able to create an experience that is truly intuitive, and something that is easy to use. So we see that our partners that have used other platforms in the past, they get away with doing the same CRM strategy with maybe 75% less effort. So it's like a huge difference. But then that's just the start, obviously, because of all of the capabilities that you get through Fast Track that you don't have maybe in other systems because of its real-time data infrastructure.
Interesting. So, I mean, it's all of those three pillars are clearly quite important. And the last one about efficiency, I think it's one that we get asked about a lot too, because there is additional cost for using complex tooling like that, which Fast Track provides. But I think I often steer operators that ask about that to think of it differently. Think about it that this is tooling that should above and beyond pay for itself. And that is reflected in a number of ways. It's not just in recovering the cost on an individual customer basis, but it's extending or enhancing the sort of satisfaction the customer has, which lifts the brand value as a whole at one level, which extends the customer lifetime and extends the depth of the customer relationship, which can lead to customer referrals, builds better value that rewards the affiliate that may have referred that customer, which builds better loyalty with the affiliate. So, I mean, it kind of sits at the hub of the business and can be an add to so many aspects of the business operations, and ultimately results in a better return for shareholders in a business if they've got the right tooling. It's asking a lot, though, right? How do you start, and then how do you develop a relationship with an operator?
So I think it starts at the very core. Like, told you a little bit about now kind of the vision of the company and so on, but if we step back even further and we start thinking about where we're going to be, how is this type of business going to be conducted in a couple of years' time, it becomes a little bit more increasingly clear how Fast Track stands out. I did a couple of keynotes back in 2021, where we introduced a concept that was called singularity to the market, where we started talking about the ultimate kind of one-to-one experience towards partners. So we have learned that, working with various, other CRM platforms in the past and working with operators, that the architecture around these CRM platforms are not set up for true personalization and true one-to-one experiences being built out at scale. And this is one of the things that we took head on. We truly believe that if you are zooming ahead, and I think in the speed of change, and everyone is like living in this change right now, with everything happening around us, with natural language taking shape in various different ways, is that it is very easy for us to now comprehend that machines are going to be smarter than human. Quite soon we're gonna have systems, and we need to build systems that are able to create more creative and smart solutions to problems than we have had previously. And we need to sort of brief that system with a various CRM strategies, or help it manifest itself in the right way within the boundaries that we set up. Fast Track has been paving the way, and we are the pioneering that when it comes to iGaming. We are the ones that are providing the infrastructure that is able to truly scale with AI and personalization at that level. When we look at the transactional CRM space, in terms of what I mean by that, is really when you have been building one campaign to one group of players, which has been the traditional way of looking at CRM. What we're doing now instead is that we do real-time player modeling using AI. So we build up a comprehensive customer profile, which includes all of the elements that you were talking about previously: player values, how they're going to move in different life stages, what their preferred bonuses are, how in any way that we can elevate their player experience is something that we touch, all the way down to the actual content and the look and feel and tonality of emails and everything like that. So it's a very, very rich, comprehensive customer behavior map is mapped out on the player using AI. And then we use a decision layer, which is also fueled by AI, which is called the singularity model, where you build your one-to-one experiences. And instead of thinking as, I'm going to create a campaign that is targeting one group of customers, what you do is that instead you say, here is a 50 or 100 or 150 different campaigns that I want to be able to offer a set group of players at this given stage in the life stage. Now, I'm building an algorithm inside Fast Track that is able to do the matchmaking between the players and the campaigns at that time. But not just the campaign, but the timing of the campaign, the channels that are being used, all the way down to how the content actually is delivered down to create a true one-to-one experience. And we have created a completely new architecture. That architecture is based on real-time data and how real-time data scales into the customer model. So every single aspect of Fast Track has always been running in real-time data, all the way from the reporting to how you segment your customers, down to the millisecond when you're sending that engagement out, all the way down to how we have a multi-channel orchestration so that you plugged in all of the different channels to then be able to build an algorithm that can cherry pick essentially based on each customer's different behaviors and traits and preferences, to be able to target them with the most possible relevance. And that's really the name of the game, is to win customer loyalty and increase your share of wallet, because it's a really busy space in iGaming.
Simon, if I'm an operator who's looking to add this kind of tooling to my business, maybe I'm coming from other CRM platforms, or I haven't used this sort of enhanced automation in my business. From what you've just described, it sounds a little bit intimidating because there's a lot to understand and get right, but you guys have got a lot of experience in working with other operators. Is part of what you provide a consultation service with operators to implement your products to perform their best?
So we have something called the fast track pathway. I mean, just to go back on what you're saying, we work with a lot of operators that are currently with Pragmatic, and we work with more than 200 operators globally across various different markets, and they are of various different maturity when it comes to both how much of work they've done in the past with CRM automation, or how much they've worked with AI, or how early or late their development of a real-time architecture has been. And we have always been kind of a partner in that. I think the most important in a partnership, whomever you pick as a provider, and I think you would agree in that, like when people are looking to work with Pragmatic, is that you need to have vision alignment. You need to achieve a belief about what the future look like, a shared outlook. Because at that time, you're going to work alongside someone. You're not going to work with someone, and you're going to reduce the amount of friction that you have in the relationship that you're building. And the same way goes for us. The first thing that happens in the process is really for us to, really share transparently in terms of where Fast Track is going as a company, and where we are taking the business, how we think CRM is going to be conducted in a couple of years' time, and then working with the operators. If we have that alignment, that's the first step for us to start building something together. Then we work in a very, very tight partnership. We have something called the Fast Track Pathway, which is essentially a 5-step onboarding program that goes into scaling with self-learning and AI. And it's actually quite a pragmatic, easy to understand, and not so, like, even though a lot of the outcomes we are seeking and the realities and technical terms and things like that that comes into this space when we talk about CRM and automation and AI, it is actually like something that we talk very closely. For those who are new to it, we would share insights and plans and help them onboard their organizations, the leaders, and their teams into working in this type of ecosystem, because it takes a little bit of change. That's absolutely right.
And how is the impact on an operator's business going to be reflected? Where are they going to see the impact come down to the bottom line? How is it going to impact their business? And how do you work with them to evaluate what's working and what's not working, and where the opportunities are to optimize the CRM programs further?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, we work with operators that have, not everyone is sharing the same goal. It's not that we are going, every business would have different type of objectives that they're focusing at that given time. We work with businesses that are looking at improving the bottom line, and that they are looking in any ways to find efficiency throughout what they're doing. We are looking at operators that might be more focused on gaining market share in a new market, or looking at increasing their conversion, or quickly picking up that. The vast majority, I would say, is like a retention focus in terms of their CRM strategies. And we look at ourselves as a partner in that. We look at someone that you share your objectives and your business goals with very early in the process in terms of where you want to go, and also throughout the relationship. And then we collaborate on a plan to do that. Our job in this relationship is to provide the technological capabilities and the guidance in order to manifest the CRM strategy and achieve those goals. So there is no way where Fast Track is just saying, okay, here is the perfect CRM strategy, and this is applicable for everyone in the entire universe, and suddenly you're going to make a lot of money. That's not how it works. It requires a CRM strategy is a product of a really, really strong brand, and that you understand how you want to approach your customers. You have clear goals, you have a clear life stage model, you have a clear customer model that understands, where you can download into a platform like Fast Track, where, okay, I understand how I want to approach them, I want to know how and how I want to upsell them. And we have seen significant upside. Like obviously it varies on what type of business objectives you have at the time you're going into Fast Track, but overall we have, we're very proud that the operators and partners we're working with are also promoting Fast So we have several different use cases and case studies which can be shared, in case someone is interested looking at that closer, if there's something in retention or something in conversion or in other areas. But since this is a turnkey platform, it touches every single aspect, and then the focus for the time being might also change throughout the course of the relationship. But this is a never evolving thing. I mean, it starts at some point, and then it continues to evolve from that point onwards. But we've seen fantastic upside from the operators using Fast Track.
One thing you and I think have talked about before, we're seeing the impact a lot on our workload as a platform provider as a result of regulation throughout the globe, and that regulation differs by market. And in many markets, it impacts marketing standards and marketing capabilities, or marketing, the sort of the rules that apply to the communication strategy operators can have with customers. Our goal as a platform, I think you may share this, is to try to maximize the commercial opportunity for our customers while working tightly within the boundaries of regulation and giving them the flexibility to interpret the regulation consistent with their risk profile as an operator and their marketing strategy and communication strategy with customers, but not have that be restricting for customers that they have qualified and have done the appropriate checks on, or have a long enough life cycle with, to understand that this customer's pattern of behavior is at a different level than the new customer that they have very little data on. How is a platform like Fast Track working in regulated markets, and how important do you think is it? My guess would be that this tooling is even more important when you're in the boundaries of regulation. Not just to ensure that you're within the guardrails, but also to make sure that where regulation may introduce certain constraints on the business that you didn't have in an unregulated environment, you still need to maximize your return on customer acquisition cost over the lifetime of the customer. Can we talk a little bit about that? How do you work in regulated markets?
We have plenty of operators that are in new regulated markets and regulated markets that has been regulated for a very long time. As you are well aware, the regulatory aspects and what is required, the market requirements in various different places can differ quite a lot. But in general, there is actually a huge there's a huge part of aspects that we need to look after as part of Fast Track in that type of relationship. They are relying on a piece of technology that is supporting their entire organization for their customer engagement management, to ensure that they are not kind of passing by or overruling any rules that has been set up or stuff like that. And the main thing that we work with is the governance and the compliance policies that the operators are setting up through their license, and then building functionality within the platform. We have tons of it already in various different directions, whether it be how you control channels, how certain behaviors, or limiting how we avoid staff, for example, making unnecessary mistakes by manually overriding certain functionality. There is a lot of governance related functionality that is built into Fast Track to provide a technical kind of support, if you may, in order to ensure that the compliance strategy and responsible gaming strategy manifests itself in the right way during the day-to-day operations. When it comes to actual models, in order to say, okay, is my player showing harmful flags of harm or marks of harm, there are other companies that might be focused a little bit more on that particular data science aspect of it, which we are not involved in, but we are integrated with tons of providers in that field, and we complement the offering many times with either internal models that the operator has been developing, or models that are coming from you as a platform or coming from a third party. So we focus mainly on ensuring that we provide a very good technical architecture for the operator to manage their policies and their compliance strategies and RG strategies in the right way. And we spend a lot of time ensuring that that governance is in place, and it manifests itself in various different ways, from how permissions and change logs, and how it's limited from being able to do certain things or bonus certain players, or how it automatically adds terms in certain ways, or adds testament. There is actually a ton of very, very long list of items that are seldom spoken actually about. Like when you're a regulated operator, it becomes very clear when you look at it in the product, like, whoa, okay, I've never seen all of this being part of the product before. But it's an incredibly important aspect.
So Simon, there's a lot to talk about in the services that you provide, a lot at that layer. But if we want to think about boiling it down to some key points that operators should be aware of when thinking about Fast Track for their business, don't mean to put you on the spot, but maybe give me the key takeaways you want someone to be mindful of when considering how to upgrade their business with Fast Track.
Okay, So I would boil it down to that. I think the level of relevance that we are seeking in our online businesses right now, and the speed of change that is happening in the world with so much uncertainty, everything is changing overnight currently. With we're gonna see a lot of change in a lot of different markets and consumer behavior and all of that around this incredible speed of change that is happening, in particular around the use of AI and how that is impacting our day-to-day work. And when it comes to being an organization that is ready to adopt, the greatest of what AI has to offer and how that can benefit the organization in the right way, we often talk about the alignment on an information architecture that makes data flow in the right direction. And that is the real-time data aspect and the importance for the business to work in a fully capable and enabled real-time environment. And it's not just the transactions over time. It means also the other supporting systems that you have, the data points from channel providers, the data points from support, whatever it might be to enrich that customer profile. It needs to be available whenever you need it. It needs to be available at that time in real time. And we are experts in setting up that type of architecture. We are experts in helping and providing the technology to help that transition happen very, very quickly. We have taken some operators that was nowhere close to working with real-time data in the past, and they have, in a very, very short period of time, been upgraded with a data layer that is, incredibly insightful, actionable, and something that has taken their CRM strategies to the next level. And that, and the progression with natural language, I think we are now witnessing a huge aspect of that, and that is affecting everyone that is working in a lot of different roles inside operations and operators. And I think that we are only seeing the beginning of this right now. Our various platforms around us and all of the services that we're buying, it's becoming increasingly intelligent. Fast Track intends to lead that race to be the most capable and most advanced platform when it comes to that over the next couple of years. So we are spending an incredible amount of money on R&D right now in terms of ensuring that we are evolving the platform in that direction. So we are a really good partner when it comes to building on that real-time data infrastructure and to enable the organization to work with as much and take advantage of as much of the AI has to offer in the context of iGaming, in the context of the challenges that we are facing every day. I just want to mention that outside of that, Fast Track has also been investing in the first kind of AI-ready gamification layer, which we launched earlier in this year, we are investing a lot of money into that product because it's proven very successful. We've had a huge take-up in the portfolio. Pretty much every operator is signing up for that product currently because it is an incredible experience layer that complements the singularity model, the ability to use AI in gamification really, really well. And the other aspect is that we are investing very heavily in theoretical value modeling and a gameplay risk layer that we are working together with Greco on. And that product in itself, I think there is going to be a lot to talk about and unpack around what we're doing in that space and around the theoretical value modeling on Greco, which I hope we get the opportunity to do in a follow-up of this as well.
Wow. I couldn't agree more, particularly with the good partner point. I mean, you guys have been a great partner for Pragmatic Solutions, and I want to make the point that for licensees of our platform, Fast Track is pre-integrated. All of your services through Fast Track are activatable on our platform, as I'm sure you're integrated with many other platforms in the industry, but we're very happy to be working with you guys. I think it's products like yours that make our products stronger, and I think we look to activate the maximum capabilities of a partnership like yours and leverage your technologies. The things that you talked about, like real-time data and access to enough granularity of data to allow you to do maximum amount of processing and profiling of customers to use your tooling properly. So it's great to work with you guys. And every time I talk to you, I seem to learn something more. Like there's another layer to what Fast Track does. And I swear, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd want to be doing what you're doing, because you're sitting at a really interesting part of the industry that it will be a deciding factor into how this industry progresses in the future, leveraging things like AI and machine learning and natural language models and all the things that you mentioned. You guys are where you can actually deploy that technology. So Simon, once again, thank you so much for coming on Connected. If, as a result of this discussion, someone wants to get a hold of you and talk more about what Fast Track can do for their business, fasttrack.io?
FastTrack.ai. Exactly.
.ai.
Almost.
Okay.
It's one letter. Yeah, no, exactly. Thank you so much for that, Ashley, as well. And we are very, very happy with the partnership with Pragmatic, and we've seen some really great success with operators that are working together. And it really comes down to that we work together a lot in order to get this integration to where it needs to be, and that's a crucial aspect in this information architecture challenge that we have in front of us. But yes, if you want to get in touch with FastTrack, you can go to fasttrack.ai or email at letsgo@fasttrack.ai.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Simon. Great talking with you. And we are going to do this again because I want to unpack the gamification and all those other new products that you're adding. I want to talk about those features next time. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for watching Connected.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Ashley.